I came back here because this is the feature of the Schaefer 400. A big open transom like this is what a lot of people want in their boat life and their boat days, and this brand of boat really gives it to you. Dan Jones is my name. Welcome to Dan's Boat Life. This is the walkthrough video. If you're interested in a test drive, I'll pop a link up on the screen now and leave it in the description below as well. She's fast, fun, available with different engine options, the diesels, all the outboards on the back. But I want you to come out and get straight out the transom here. Check out the size of this swim platform. This is really appealing. A lot of people want to spend their time out here, and Schaefer has done an excellent job in terms of their design and their layout, and then having this centrally mounted Barbie area just here for your entertaining. So let's go through it all. This is your Barbie setup just here. We've got a little sink here, got the Kenyan grill. That pops down so you can put some food. It's got a little bit of an angle on it, but you could lay things there as well should you need. Couple of little storage lockers in here, so that's going to be good for shore power and other things, little bits and pieces. I want you to pay attention to the teak just here, so that I can see some hinges. That is actually a ginormous hinge. So this whole thing will open, we'll get into the engine bay. Stay watching till the end of the video if you're interested in that, we will do it. Just head a little bit over there, Andy, and just get all this in shot. This platform, it's massive. You've got to remember, we're on a 40-foot boat. Most boats of this size will not have a hydraulic swim platform because the balance, essentially the center of gravity moves too far aft. I've just test driven the boat. It is a really well-balanced hull. So to enable a huge platform like this with a drop-down or a deployable 3-step ladder to step down when she's in the water, and then the proper telescopic swim ladder, which is a 4-step telescopic swim ladder with a grab handle just there and a little air gap for the water to pass through as well. This is cool. This is really cool. So you can just deploy this thing, hang out on the platform, and use it like we are right now. I'm sure you probably put tenders out here as well, but then depending on the weight of your tender, you might then start to move the center of gravity a little bit aft. So just think about that, what sort of tender you're applying to that function if you were going to do that. Just a moderately sized inflatable would seem to make sense. So it's going to be out of shot for you here, but I can see some fuel cutoffs. I can also see the hot and cold water swim shower, diesel intake on starboard. We've got some lights just there, some courtesy lights making our way forward. And I also like, this is probably an Australian option, how the teak finishes at the back of the boat and we go to fiberglass up the front. So that's, from a maintenance perspective, going to be quite sensible. Now just keep all this in shot here, Andy. I'll just try and point out little bits and pieces as we go. So if you want to head to the bow, which we will do in a second, you can go up the starboard side via the 1, 2, 3 steps and you've got the grab handles, or you can go up this port side. So 1, 2, 3 here, and we can head up that way. I will do that in a second, but just pay attention to the diesel intake here, shore power just there, courtesy lights, and the cleats. Okay, so just get all this in shot. Try not to move the camera too much, Andy. I don't want to make our viewers seasick. But I love this picture. The colors, the style, and the circular setup of this lounge. Who doesn't like lunching around a circular table? You know, the best tables are those Chinese tables where you sit around the thing that turns and you have the food. I feel like I'm getting those vibes, having a nice succulent Chinese meal, sitting out here with a beautiful Sydney Harbour view. And everybody is going to be included in the conversation, and you could probably get 8 rugby blokes and 14 normal sized people if they were squeezing. There's quite a lot of flexibility. And think about people sitting around this table. There's obviously going to be more people hanging out on the back platform, you know, having a drink, having a swim, other people here in the center of the boat, and then more people up in the bow on the sun lounge. So if you need to create more space, you can do that. That provides a grab hand or a grab hold just there. Easy access into the engine bays via this hatch, which we'll do later in the video. And then these 2 seats here, I believe these ones are fixed, but this one here and that one there both pull off. There's got supports underneath the seat structure itself and a perfect place for storing things like life jackets and safety gear. But I see a drink and wine glass holder just there. I can see courtesy lights around, so this floor can be illuminated at night time, which is great when you're running because you can just have these lights on and turn these down lights off so the driver doesn't ruin his or her night vision. Now, the design of the roof finishes just here. So people just here are going to be a little bit more exposed, but there is a deployable sunshade just here. So that's electrically deployable. We'll cut to some shots of that, and that's going to protect this whole area out the back of the boat, and you'll be able to see that from the drone shots. But once you enter from here forward, you're in the structure of the cabin itself. So you've got really, really good weather protection. We're benefiting from that today because it's a southerly wind, a little bit nippy, but I've got downlights all the way down either side, there and there, and then a couple more overhead just here to illuminate this area. The only thing you might want to think about if you're barbecuing at night time, you might just want to think about an extra light of some sort. I'm sure it's really, really easy to do. Once you get in, you've got 2 speakers on either side, here and here. You've got a drinks preparation area here. So this is actually Corian, just here on the fiberglass. And then we've got one of our many fridges just below that. So that's ideal for a drink prep station there. You could also put food there should you need, but you have the option to do it here on starboard. And I like how they've put these rails here so, you know, when the boat's rocking around, platters are not going to fall on the seats. They've also been clever about their drink holder number and design. So you can put a bottle of bourbon or something in there, put a big wine bottle here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cans or drinks or coffee cups in there, no problems. And more options because you even have your custom branded wine glasses and other Schaefer set up in here. So that's really well stored, and even some nice little crystal ones down there. So pull that out, set them up, fill them up with drinks, and off you go. Okay, so over here, we've got this nice little sun lounge. Perfect spot for getting yourself out of the wind, reading a book. I love reading a book in a location like this because you've got protection, have that open or closed. During winter, this is a great place to be. It really is. Little bit of space underneath there for drinks. And I think we're just going down into the cabin below. That's all nice cross-stitched silver text it looks like. And there you go. I think I've covered everything there. So don't forget the bin, just next to the helm. So subwoofer just here. I spoke about the 4 speakers there and there. Let's have a look at the helm itself. Comfortable boat to drive. So just frame all this up in shot. The single bolster, you just need to think about that if you've got a passenger with you. Tell them to stand up when you're operating it. Other than that, it's not a problem. And I did find this boat, the design and the balance of the hull, such that I didn't feel the need to stand up. I really only stood up for an enjoyment factor, not from an operational sense, because my visibility was fine. Even on acceleration, I accelerated without trim tab, and I only just played with it, and I didn't really lose my line of sight across the bow, so that was fine. They've set this throttle back from the wheel about 6 inches, so that's quite comfortable. You're sitting in here, you do have a little footrest there. I have very short legs, so it's not super ideal for me, but normal people will be fine. You've got a lot of space out on my starboard side, so it would be good for storing or putting things, or even just placing a briefcase or bag just there. You've got drink and wine glass holders just here. It's the digital throttle. You've got your ignitions and your start stops here, and your phone charging below that, so you would put a phone quite comfortably. It almost looks like it's been designed to nestle into the leather-wrapped dash just here. But then as we focus on the dash itself, first thing that's worth pointing out, they have gone for the grey leather finish forward, so we don't have any, no dangers from sun glaring up in our face. Even though we do have a bit of glass around us, with this design, nothing's going to bounce back up into my eye line, so even now with the sun, it's not a problem. Got your air conditioning outlet here, our glass-backed dash on a good angle with 2 screens. I'd say there's space for a third if that was how you roll. It looks like it would be possible. Got the Garmin multifunction, they'll do everything. Bow thruster is just really sensible, easy access from the helm. So if you do need to operate it, your throttle and your throttle hand can operate the thruster and leave your wheel hand free to do your thing. And if you option the boat with the joysticks, you would just put that here. In terms of the switch banks on starboard, we've got horn, accessories, engine hood, exhaust, bilge forward, bilge aft. We've got the Garmin VHF below that. We've got another bank of switches just here, winch, house, gen, starboard and port. So they are all our main switches. So that's really sensible from an operational perspective, rather than getting me to crawl down in some inaccessible part of the boat and have to switch them on there. I love seeing sensible designs like that. Windscreen wiper function is down here. So beg your pardon, waste control. Waste control. So that looks like holding tank, not windscreen wiper. So that's good. I'm glad that's waste and not windscreen wiper. Fireboy is just here. Ritchie compass just here. Adjustable steering wheel, leather wrapped, got the logo on the inside, so that's good. Here's my sunroof operation here, battery parallel. There's my windscreen wiper operation in a very sensible place, and it's just next to the anchor winch operation, which I've already used today. It works just fine. Courtesy lights, engine room, deck, accessory, top, and navigation lights, so that's all bank of lights, and your Fusion head control unit just there. And next to the trim tabs, I didn't mention are the Lenco trim tabs just to the port of that. Flipping this up, so you could sit on this, but I feel when you're standing, of a lot of the sports cruisers that I've driven, it's quite enjoyable because you really do have the wind in your hair, and this sleek cabin design is such that this pillar is at a low position, allowing for anyone, I'm 5'7", anyone standing up has got really good clear visibility. If you haven't driven a sports cruiser with the top open on a nice summer's day, you're not living. That's really, really enjoyable. So I would find myself probably cruising around from a seated position a lot of the time. And when I'm making my way, you know, from Rose Bay to Manly and I'm out on the open stretch and just opening the boat up a little bit, I'm probably going to pop the roof, stick my head out and enjoy the day. Let's quickly go and have a look at the bow before we get downstairs. So follow me, Andy. Let's go. I feel like, well, it's equal size on port and starboard, but I feel like I would be more inclined to go up the port side. Now, I want to point out the design of this roof feature is a perfect handhold. So that's a good solid chunk of fiberglass. It's actually just the mounting for your radar mast, horns, VHF lights, etc. And it's some styling to the boat, but it's a logical handhold for someone moving forward before they get to the actual handhold, which is just here. This rail is lower, as you would expect on a stylish boat like this, so you need to be able to think about these sorts of handholds if you're not too steady on your feet. So walking forward, you've got that to grab onto. Then you come into the bow lounge. It's what you would expect for a 40-foot sexy sports cruiser. So 4 people could enjoy themselves up here, no problems. Forward-facing opening hatch, which is going to give us plenty of ventilation into the master berth below, or it could be the VIP, we'll find out. And then we've got 2 more opening hatches forward-facing as well. And I can see 6 drink holders, 1 bottle, and then 2 actual normal-sized drink holders. So they're quite aggressive on their drink holder facilities on these Schaefers, which is kind of cool. Up in the bow, we've got 2 forward cleats. I walked past midships cleats on the way up here. And let's just have a look at the anchor locker. We've got a quick anchor windlass. We've got gow chain. It's all chain on this one. And the bow roller, single bow roller forward, not visible from the helm, but visible if you come up to the bow because you can see it protruding out there and you can see the angle of the chain. It does also have a chain wash up here. So we've got a deck wash. I assume that's raw water, and I can see a little holder for my easing the brake or the clutch on the windlass. You do have operation, these 2 foot pedals here and here. I can also see this bow lounge here is zipped in place, so that's not going to fly up because of these zippers. You wouldn't believe the number of manufacturers that don't even do that. They just do press studs, and then I go drive the boats and the things take off in the air. Little things like that are actually quite important from an operational perspective. Okay, I figured that would be how that works. So this looks like it goes like so. So that's great. This is beautiful. I love the view. That's what you would do. You wouldn't do it underway at speed because you are going to be in the way or the sight line of the driver. That would be not safe. Windscreen wiper, stainless steel, not mild steel, so that's going to last a little bit longer with the freshwater wash function, and it's one big wiper that's going to do the whole windscreen. It's a single piece of toughened glass on this one, so that's pretty logical. And going down the starboard side, much what we saw on the port, except I saw some intakes. I'm not sure if that was intake or outlet for the holding tank. Navigation lights just here, and this is quite a sexy roof. Like, I'm just gonna, hopefully you'll be able to appreciate this from the drone shots, but the color of this boat and the design of this cabin top underway is quite striking. So if you like a sexy boat, the Schaefer certainly is, or fits that bill, so to speak. Let's go down and have a look at the cabin. Okay, so entering the cabin, we go down 1, 2, 3 stairs down the stainless steel support. I'm just gonna come with me and we'll go all the way up to what is either the VIP or the master, and feel free to leave a comment in the description below because it feels like a master. You know, this is quite impressive. We've got beautiful big hull windows on either side. We've got these opening ports, a wonderful, very large island queen size bed just here. And the vibe that you get in here is plush. It's quite plush. We've got the timber finishings, we've got the high gloss on the furniture, got the leather wrap sides, and I've also got the, you know, it must be leatherette roof as well, but it's a feeling of high quality. Then we have the forward-facing opening ventilation hatch, which would also be an escape hatch. You probably could sit up in bed, so let's just do that and give you some perspective. No problems at all. And you really are in your own little sanctuary down here compared to the rest of the boat. So I'd be really happy to come down here and lock myself away and read a book or do whatever you need to do. But just quickly, we've got these opening cupboards, 2 on either side, great for separating some of your kit. We've got the lights can be operated from bed, so you don't have to turn them off over there and then run and jump in bed. It's all really easy to operate. We have our own air conditioning control in this cabin. We've got shelves on the starboard side, and we'll check out the port side. On the port side, we got shelves as well. So 1, 2, 3 shelves on either side for his and her operation. Now we do have private access through this door here, which I'm going to go through the other door, into the day head, but that is also the head for this cabin. You can see the ventilation for the aircon unit in the bow just here. So one thing worth pointing out, I'm barefoot right now, the carpet's lovely. It's this woolen, soft, thick carpet. It gives you a really good feel underfoot. So you go from the teak decks up on deck and you come down here and you really do feel like you're in your own little sanctuary. So just come around, Andy, and let's just have a look at this cabin. So this is a separate shower, but it's a combined toilet shower because you have this big Perspex lockable door here, very large shower head that just removes. I'll actually show you. That's one like this, so that's going to be a nice rain head shower, and you will keep this area or utilize this area as your wet area, and then it keeps this area dry. So where we have the nice timber drawers where you can put all your toiletries bags, and these where, oh, isn't that cool? So that's really good for even loo rolls. Oh, look at that. Okay, a little bit of cleaning gear, a few loo rolls, toiletries bags are going to go super well in there. Plenty of space here for laying some of your kit out for the girls doing their makeup, and then even more storage up here, plus a towel rack holder, and that's one of those windows that we saw up on deck, so that's going to ventilate this area if it needs venting. So very cool. Another opening port behind me. Let's go from here and check out the saloon. So this is what you can achieve when you get to 40 feet. Not only do we have that wonderful space up on deck and the big heart of the boat around the barbecue with the drop-down swim platform, you've got a little hangout. So this turns a boat like this into an all-weather kind of boat, all year round is what I'm trying to say. So with reverse cycle air conditioning like we have on this boat, you could just set the temperature, or even on the hot days, come down here and chill. We have this wonderful TV, and it's quite a stylishly set up head unit just there with all of our entertainment. I'm on this L-shaped lounge here, and I've got space for 2 people, possibly 3, to really enjoy a meal. got some storage in these here and here. These are fixed hull windows. I've got one opening behind me there. I don't know if there's storage underneath. They don't seem to want to pull up. No, it looks like more air conditioning actually. 2 more speakers and a vent for the aircon. Just get this in shot, Andy, because we saw the battery switches at the helm. You fire all those on. That's how you start the boat for the day, but then you can come down here and check all your fuses. So it's pretty easy and logical to operate. We've got 240 and 12 volt shore power genset distribution. So you go ship to shore, do it all from here, and that's pretty logical. Got some more storage areas for games, for drinks, and drawer here for remote controls, wallets, phones, things like that. And this is your primary Fusion head unit just here, and the flat screen quite nicely mounted. I see the Cummins Onan genset operation start-stop from here, and I see more air conditioning controls just here. But moving over here before we get to what is probably the master, but I'll let you guys leave a comment because it's that was pretty impressive for a VIP. Just a neat little galley, really. So you've got 2 burner electric cooktop off the Jenny, and you've got a single stainless steel sink here. You've got this fancy little setup for a bin. So that's got a stainless steel lid just there. You've got a little bit of views out to the water so you don't feel like you're in a cocoon down here. And the light colours really make it feel a little bit bigger as well. Single opening port. I like that we have quite a few opening ports on this boat. So you've got the choice. You can aircon it up or open everything and utilise the fresh air. More storage just there. Sharp microwave, lots of storage under there, and just point out, look at all the Schaefer, everything's branded. So everything on this boat, all the cutlery, all the plates, all the glasses, they're all provided, and they've branded with little Schaefer logos. We have another fridge of yay size, so there's 2 of these, one up on deck and this one here. You might want to consider an esky if you're doing big days out on the water. And then we've got the Korean finish here. This one's got a bit of a textured finish to it, so it feels a little bit more bougie to the Korean we saw up on deck. So let's make our way into the heart, which is probably the master if you choose. But we've got 2 singles in this layout. I assume this can be turned into a double, but it's basically full beam. So it feels quite nice, you know. Very, very long beds, like that's my feet on the end there, and I can't even touch the end. So just imagine how much space you've got here when this had an infill in place. But with the windows just there, light switches operated from just here, 240 there, more natural ventilation from the opening port if you choose, and a little bit of storage in lockers just here, aircon there, more storage here. You really, you are well set up for a night or 2 out on the water, which is what you do on a boat like this. So that's cool. Lots of rounded edges everywhere. Nothing that's going to bump your head and hurt yourself. Pay attention to that because that would be awkward if they had some sharp edges in here. So from there, we move into the head, which is also an enclosed head shower. It's debatable because having full beam back here is quite nice. I think the forward probably is the master because this head is smaller than what we saw on the other one. But we've got the single sink, we've got the electric operation, we've got the pull-out shower, we've got this little storage area here and a single port there, loo roll holder, and also some facilities for hanging your towels. So that's all pretty cool. Let's go check out the engine bay. Okay, so I had to pop up this hatch here because it's not often that you get such easy access overhead of both motors. A lot of sports cruisers, they'll provide a facility for long-term maintenance for you to actually unbolt and with great difficulty remove the fiberglass overhead, and they'll often just give you a day access hatch like this. But on this particular design, at the press of a button, hydraulic arm lifts all of this up. We get overhead access quite clear and easy, and then we have this large hatch just here to go down for quick day-to-day access. On the forward bulkhead, we've got all our power distribution, our hydraulics. Our main battery switches are actually just on the port side. Pretty large hot water insulated tank that looks like a 45 litre capacity. Holding tank next to that on the port side. The Cummins genset is on the starboard side, and then aft of that you have both motors, and basically professionally mounted D4 320s. I can see more hydraulics for the platform on either side in each corner, and the diesel tanks are on each side. So there's 2 diesel tanks, one on port, one on starboard, 400 litre capacity each. Insulation about 1 inch thick, and the insulation is all the way around, both on the forward bulkhead and on the roof. So noise levels were more than acceptable. It was fine for holding conversations. And I do note the Fireboy system is mounted just to the port side of the port motor. There it is, guys. The Schaefer 400. If you want to live the classic Sydney sports cruiser lifestyle, if you want bucket loads of space out here, and if you want to do really, really epic day boating with lots and lots of swim platform out the back, a sexy boat, a fast boat, and I might add, quite cost effective. These guys are really competitive on price. Have a look at the Schaefer 400. Outboards, stern drives, you choose, diesel or petrol. It's a nice new option to add to the market. If you were ever into the Sea Ray sports cruisers, the Sundancers, you will like a boat like this. My name's Dan Jones, this has been Dan's Boat Life. Support the channel, subscribe, share it with your mates, get onto my Patreon if you want to see more content like this. And if you want to see the test drive video, click on the link coming up on the screen somewhere right now. Thanks.